Please welcome to the stage Annie Potts. There you go. Have a seat. Relax.
Hi, thanks for coming. You don't mind if I keep my coat on, do you?
We have a blanket for you and a space heater if you care.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Whatever you need.
I do care, but you don't even have a coat on. Don't you need the heater?
I have long johns on underneath this, so I'm good to go. Well, thanks
I'm
for
good
coming.
for now.
Nice. Been to Pittsburgh before, or just?
I don't think I have.
Okay. Well, welcome. It's
Thank
nice to have you.
I hear it's a lovely city. I haven't gone down to see much yet, but here it's great.
So let's get started.
Oh my God, we have a little Woody here on the front row. That's the cutest thing I ever saw. But
Have you done very many Comic-Cons before?
I know this is my first.
I was going to say, because, yeah. You're going to love it.
I do love it already. I've lived my life inside a soundstage. I don't get out and meet the people who allow me to work much, so I'm happy to do it.
Nice. So obviously working a lot, film, television, theater. As an actress, how do you make that transition, prep for each of the different medias?
Well, it just depends on what you're doing. It's always about the size of the screen you're on, kind of. I think, with theater you have a big proscenium, and TV a smaller one, but real close up, and film bigger than life.
So as far as like prepping the way you act, do you change it much between those media?
Tonally, yes, but not really. I mean, acting's just pretending to be somebody else. So luckily I'm still a child, so I'm happy to pretend.
Nice. So I want to talk to you about Designing Women, a very iconic show. And what was it about that character? Thank you. What was it about it, that character that you played that resonated with the audience? And did you personally connect with the character of Mary Jo?
I did. I was a single mother myself around about that time, so I felt like I brought some real life experience to it too. But that writer is particularly gifted, and she wrote always to all of our strengths as actors. So it's a lot of fun. We had great chemistry, the four of us.
I'm going to go down the Ghostbuster trail. I mean, it's such a great character you play, Janine. And, what was it like being part of that phenomenon? Do you know that film was actually going to be as huge as it was, and what the impact it had?
Well, I think, when you start something like that, you never imagine. I don't know if there'd been anything that big before it, but like Jaws or something, I don't think it's hard to think in the size of that. But I knew that it was super original. I mean, it was funny and scary, laugh hard, pee your pants at the same time. I mean, everybody loves that. So I recognized it as something authentically original, and and then of course they scored so big with the follow-up, the second one. And now Ivan Reitman's son, Jason, wants to keep it going, so I think it will, and I think the new kids bring great new life to it.
So filming that, I mean, you're with, a lot of incredible improv comedic actors. What was the set like? Was it very much stick to the script, or let's have fun?
It was pretty loose. And I'd never been one to do improv. I really didn't like it. I really like to have a script. But of course, all the guys knew each other for a long time and knew our director, and I mean, they had their own shorthand language and everything, and I felt a little bit like, wait, what are we doing? You're changing that? It was really good in the script. What? I felt, but I learned to play with them after a bit.
What was the audition process like for your role?
Just, there wasn't anything particularly unusual about it at all. I just, my agents called me and said, go in on this, and I read it and thought it was really hilarious, and got it. It was just kind of a lucky fluke.
So, what was it like the premiere? The premiere had to be kind of crazy, didn't it? The premiere of the film?
For the first one?
For the first one?
I'm trying to remember that
Or
one.
the
There have
second
been
one?
some- the first one. Well, Ernie Hudson and I still laugh about the first one because the premiere of it was in L.A. and as I stepped out of my limousine that the studio had sent for me and stepped on the red carpet, 3 people ran up in like official-looking jackets and said, "Please step very quickly to the left to get out of the way to allow for the celebrities to arrive." And all of a sudden, I found myself sort of in a back door of the lobby, and there was Ernie Hudson, and he said, "What the heck just happened?" And because they'd done the same thing to him too, so that was fun.
So you've done comedy and drama. Do you prefer one to the other? Would you feel more comfortable?
I prefer to work. And I don't care if it's funny or sad. I like it all. It's like life. I like it all.
Do you, when you see yourself on screen, is there much of a surprise to see yourself like doing something comedic or
Well,
doing
since
something?
I got old, it's shocking. What? But I like it all. So I'll keep doing it. As long as I can remember lines, I'll do it.
Nice. So any particular actors or directors that you think really kind of made an impression on you working with?
I loved working with Peter Bogdanovich. I did a sequel to Last Picture Show with him. And he loved actors, and he was very, it was just wonderful to work with him. And Jeff Bridges is just about, you just can't wish for a better acting partner than that, so.
So do you ever really find, though, that theater might be a little more rewarding than film or TV? I know you like doing all the work and always working, but for a personal, goal for yourself, what makes you kind of feel better at the end of the day?
Well, I think, when you go home after a day of shooting, you're like, you don't know till the movie comes out whether you were good or not. But of course, theater's instant gratification, and we all like that, don't we? That feels pretty good. And I always feel like if people have come to see me in the theater, and I like, when were you there? What night were you there? Because I'll know what kind of performance they saw, and I'll either, apologize or accept their liking of it. So, but in TV and film, you just do it and walk away.
So we'll get to questions in a minute. I got to ask you, what first gave you the acting bug? What made you really want to do this? Was there a specific actor or actress that kind of inspired you to jump in?
Not really. I grew up in rural Kentucky, and there wasn't much to do in the summers, so my parents would send us away to camp. And at the camp, there was a drama program, and I started acting there when I was just a kid, and 9. So I started doing that, and I fell in love with it, and I never, ever wanted to do anything else. So, and here I am 60 years later, still doing it.
Very nice. Would you mind taking some questions from the audience for a bit?
Absolutely not.
Let's fire some out.
Hi, I'm going to ask about Toy Story since I got this cute little guy here. Next year's the 30th anniversary. My question is, what's it like returning to a character like Bo Peep after 20 years?
Well, it was interesting. I mean, they had first we had to we did some tests so to see if the voice quality was intact and still sounded like the character. I mean, I was it was 30 years ago now, I think. Is that right? I'm very bad at math. Anyway, they had to check and see that it was, and yes, I still sounded younger than I actually am. And but it was sweet. When we did the first two, we worked separately, and I mean, they just called us in one at a time. And when we did the last one, the fourth one, because of the nature of the relationship between me and Woody, Tom and I were called in together to work, and that was a delight. I'm just happy to have been a part of that franchise, to have delighted 3 generations of people now with their children. Everybody loves to sit down with their kids and grandkids and watch a nice Pixar movie.
Okay, next question, right over where you at?
Hello.
Back there in the back. Awesome.
Hey. So in the first Ghostbusters, you had a thing with Egon, and the second, you had a thing with Lewis. So in the last 30 years, between all the different ideas and scripts, have they ever pitched to you who would be your romantic interest in a third one?
The third one? The third one was the all-girls one.
Right. If Afterlife
If-
didn't happen, if there was another version like 20 years ago or such.
You know, has there been 4 or 5? I really have lost count at this point. The last 2 came close together. I think that, well, I was cut out mostly of the Afterlife one. There was a whole thing about my relationship with Egon that they were suggesting had gone on, and that I was the one who was keeping him propped up out there in the Midwest. And it was a sweet storyline. I was sorry to lose that, but you know, I'm a utility player. We can plug me in wherever they want to, and with anybody they want to, and I'm happy to show up.
And we're going to ricochet over to this side of the room.
Hi, thank you so much for being here and welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
Pretty in Pink was my coming of age movie, and I just wanted to be you when I grew up. I wanted to own a record store and do all of that. In that character, do you feel that there's any part of that character that like was kind of part of you as well? I just felt really like connected to that character in so many ways. If you could talk about that.
Thank you. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, I sensed that with her in the beginning, and of course I kind of had developed that kind of relationship with the young kids I was working with. I was the old lady then. I think 32, and I thought, well, to them I'm like 90, but I felt a kinship with her. And she's a wonderful character. I loved her.
Okay, next question.
Hi there. I know you can't see me behind the camera, but Meemaw has several boyfriends. Do you think she's ever going to dip into the chocolate fountain and get a chocolate boyfriend?
I think Meemaw is a very open person. I think Meemaw would not judge anybody by their color if she was in love with them.
My question is, have you ever seen the real Ghostbusters, the Ghostbusters cartoon, and what were your opinions on your character Janine and how she changed through the seasons?
Well, you know, in those, we did them so far apart. The first and the second, there were 5 years. I was doing Designing Women when we did the second one, and I looked very differently. My hair was down to the middle of my back and a different color, and so I needed to wear a wig, and because I was doing them simultaneously, so we had to make some aesthetic compromises and inventions to make her interesting. And I mean, girls change. They change their look, they change their style. All women know this. It confuses boys who aren't as flexible, I think. We're like, well, she just changed. It's like, yeah, baby, that's right. We just changed. Anyway, so she changed.
Hi, Ms. Potts. It's so great to have you here in Pittsburgh. Circling back to Pretty in Pink, it's one of my favorite movies, and I love the character Iona. But my question was, and this is one of my major grievances with the movie, what Andy did to her dress when she reconstructed it. I wanted to know what your take was on that dress, because I felt like it was so beautiful as is.
That costumer is so gifted. I just loved what she did with everything. She certainly did me. She was just wonderful to work with, incredibly imaginative and everything. And I thought that that the big pink dress was the least successful of all the wonderful things she did. But it certainly seemed to be a hit with the 19-year-olds,
Hello, welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
In the back.
My question is, who was your favorite cast member to interact with on the set of Young Sheldon?
Well, I love them all. They're my family, And it changed because, like my character in Ghostbusters, they grew and changed. The kids were so little when we started. They were just 8 when we started. And, now they're like stinky teenagers. But I loved working with them all. And I especially love working with Craig T. Nelson. He's my darling boyfriend.
And a question over to that side of the room.
Hi, Annie. I want to bring it back to Pretty in Pink again. I also love Iona. The fact that she works at a record store and I work at a record store here in Pittsburgh. That came out pretty much during like the new wave scene for as far as music goes. And the soundtrack is also kind of like new wave post-punk. I want to know what kind of music you were into at the time.
I don't remember. I'm a Broadway baby, It's like if Stephen Sondheim didn't write it, I probably don't know it. So I don't, and I had a young child at the time, so I think I was always running around the house going, turn the music down. So I don't remember, and of course that was 40 years ago, so I don't know what was in then.
Hi. So I was kind of wondering, whenever you did the Ghostbusters 2016 remake and you did the deleted scenes where in the Mercado you were telling the girls, oh great, the exterminators are here, and then you continued on going on with your little improvisation, I think I said that right. My question is, when taking multiple takes in one scene or in another, do you ever get surprised whenever a specific scene makes it into the final product? And if so, what is a good example?
Oh, that's a very complicated question. They tried a lot of different things as they used us OG members as just cameos in those things. So when they had each one of us, they said try this, try that. They had a lot of different scenarios, and I didn't have any idea which one that they would choose.
Next question, right down here.
Hi, I was wondering what is the most thing you're most proud of in all the things you did in your career? What couple of movies, TV, whatever stands out to mean the most to you?
I did a series for Lifetime called Any Day Now, which was about friendship and race. That was about the friendship between two women, one black, one white, in Birmingham, Alabama. And it was present day, and then we would go back into the 60s when the little girls were growing up together. And the subject matter was approached with such sensitivity and such beauty. And I mean, the writing was just sensational. It's not as well known as some of the other work that I've done, but it's my favorite, and I think the best.
Hello.
Hi.
So I'm wondering, why have you never been to a Comic-Con until this one?
I have been really busy working.
Good. Good for you. Good for you. There you go. Let's get a few more questions.
Hi, Miss Potts.
Hi.
Thank you first for just all that you've done. I've grown up with you during my childhood, and my question is, you got to work with the great Rick Moranis. If you could ever reunite with him, what would your reaction be?
Oh, I'm sure I'd be delighted to see him again. I haven't seen him in many years now. You know, he hasn't. After the second one, he didn't join in on any of the other subsequent movies. So I haven't seen him in a while. But he's so talented, and he's a volcano of imagination and I mean comedic virtues. He's sensational. So I would love to work with him again.
Okay, down front.
Hi, I just want to let you know that Janine Melnitz is my favorite character from Ghostbusters, and my question is, will we see another Ghostbusters movie in the future?
You know, I think it's their hope to continue to do them now that they've brought in the new family with the young kids and everything. I think that they'll be the standard bearers going forward. And I think the rest of us are really too old to be running after ghosts at this point. The last one, that ambulance just about killed us all, okay? I'm just saying.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
She wants to know what your favorite Christmas movie is.
What is my favorite Christmas movie? The one with Bing Crosby. This is such an old reference for you, darling. You'll never know. It was made in like the 1940s. That's my favorite. It's you know, I can't say that I've watched any new ones. What's your favorite, so I'll know what to watch?
Christmas Story.
Oh yeah, yes, that's even in my circle of reference. That is precious, isn't it?
Let's get one more question. And you're going to go back to your table and sign?
I am.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I
Join her at the table. You got a photo op coming up. I'd like to thank you so much for coming out and doing this. Such a pleasure.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Let's get one more.
Hello, you were hilarious in Corvette Summer, and I'm wondering if you have a favorite look or scene that your character got to do in that movie.
Well, when Mark Hamill pulled me through the casino in a scuba suit with flippers, that was really fun. I can tell you it's not easy to run with fins on, but we had and I think there were a lot of people in the casino who weren't actually, they were just playing the slots, like, what? Anyway, that was a lot of fun. He's a lovely guy, and that was my first movie. He was very experienced. He'd done like 100 TV movies, and he was I was like, what is going on? Why is the camera there? Why is that light there? and he was he sort of mentored me through that, and I'll love him forever for it.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Annie Potts, everyone. Headed back to her table to sign. Right this way, my dear. Thank you so much.